Welcome to the Brokers Lounge with Eddie and Carlo.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Brokers Lounge, the podcast where we unravel everything to do with home lending and property, etc., and everything to do with finances as well. We're going to do something a little bit different today, which will hopefully have people enjoy exactly what we're going to be talking about. But before we start, obviously want to introduce my lovely co-host, Eddie. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yes. How's your week been?
Good. Busy.
Yes.
You know. But, it's good. Can't complain. You go through lows and ups.
Yep.
But it's all good.
Yes. Hopefully we're seeing the other end of winter now because I'm over it already. I'm already over it. So
too, man.
let's hope it's we're on the back end now. But look, today we're going to talk about a bit of a then versus now. So we're going to take a trip back in time. This might be a little bit harder for you, Eddie, because you're not as old as me. But
back to your days.
Back to my days. So we're actually going to compare what life was like back in 1975. So exactly 50 years ago today.
Not too far. When
50 years is a long time.
Your days, I thought we're going.
Yeah, back in my dinosaurs. Thank you very much for that. But so we're going to go talk about things. Yeah, I'll leave that one right alone. So we're going to talk about the cost of living in Australia in 1975 compared to today. You know, we're going to look at house prices to wages, to buying the everyday bread and milk and stuff like that. So, but I thought before we start, we'll just set the scene a little bit in terms of what was Australia actually like in 1975?
The good old days, is it?
It is the good old days. I won't say how old I was because that'll give away my entire age, but you know the answer anyway. So, but I was very young. So, but the population in Australia, have a guess what it was in 1975?
Probably half what it is today.
Yeah, you're pretty much spot on. So we're at 13 million people in Australia compared to today's 26 million people. So,
there you go. In 50 years, we doubled.
Yeah, very much. So Bob Hawke hadn't even entered politics yet.
He was a baby as well.
He was a baby.
I can't see him as a baby.
No, he wasn't. It wasn't quite a baby. He did enter politics quite late in life. So, but colour TVs were a bit of a novelty. So it wasn't the norm, that's for sure. And your average home loan was obviously just a fraction of what we see it as today. So I guess we fast forward to 2025. We're a high tech world nowadays.
Are we?
Yeah, well,
I can't figure out the bloody internet sometimes.
But I guess it's interesting because we looked at the price of avocado on toast today, and it's the same price as what a full breakfast would have been many years ago as well. So
there you go.
So, but I think we might just start off with something that's obviously quite relevant to what we do day in, day out, and that's obviously housing and what the price of houses were. So in 1975, the average house price in Sydney was around $28,000.
There you go, mate.
Which is unbelievable. But in those days, it was actually...
if you knew.
Yeah, exactly. You imagine buying a house then and just sitting on it, and that'd be fantastic.
Five, maybe.
But it was still considered quite a significant purchase in those days. It's not like it was, a bit of spare change or anything like that. It's still quite significant. But the main thing was that it was actually quite attainable as well, compared to today. So the other thing was most people could actually afford to buy a property on one income. I guess when we look at today, that's really difficult to achieve unless you're on a very good income. Because
still have a decent life.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I think the key thing I think has been that over the years we've as a society we tend to want more. Not that we need more, we just want more in life. So
exactly, man.
But the cost of the same house in Sydney today would be about $1.2 million. So that's a 43-fold increase, which is quite significant. And if you look at wages in comparison, probably about a 10-fold increase. So yes, prices have gone up quite dramatically, but they haven't. Wages haven't increased to the same level. So 20% deposit on a house in those days was about $5,000. Pretty attainable. Today it's around $240,000, plus obviously stamp duty costs and everything like that as well. So
yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, so I guess the dream of home ownership is definitely shifted quite a bit. It's not as easy as what it was in the old days. So, but I think it's probably good to start talking about where wages were as well then versus now. So
absolutely, like in terms of wages, In 1975, the average weekly wage was $150 per week.
Some people spend that on lunches.
On a lunch. That's what you spend every day on lunch.
Hence the stomach.
Which is about $8,000 a year. So it's all relative, you know, to the time. Like back then, that was decent because you could do your groceries for $10 a week.
Yeah,
you know, it's just a lot more expensive now. Today, the average full-time earnings, it's around $90,000 per year or $1,700 per week. So, yeah, wages have gone up relatively to 1975, but not now what the house prices have gone up by. So
yeah, I cast my mind back to when my very first job, when I landed a role at Commonwealth Bank. Now, that was 1989. But not as far back as 1975. But my first job, and my kids laugh at this when I tell them how much I was. They're like, how'd you actually survive? Like that's like spare change. So my annual wage was $9,900 and something a year.
There you go.
And I reckon that was pretty cool in those days.
There you go.
Okay, I was only 17, 18 years of age, but you know, still living at home. But you know, you look at it now. And, imagine being
a week now, man.
Yeah,
crazy.
Imagine being off, getting your employment contract nowadays, and it says your annual salary is $9,900. I think people just go, tear that one up. See you later. Sorry, was that meant to be a week or a fortnight?
People these days are not happy with 100 plus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah. Like you said, man, it's all relative. Mentality has changed, mindset has changed as well. Like, it's not just the wages. Like, obviously, we're focusing on prices, houses, and wages, but everything has changed. And also, back then, maybe you would have earned less compared to today, but taxes were less, cost of things were less, which we'll go through now.
Yeah.
So it's just absolutely different because back then, in 1975, we've got here, bread would cost you 25 cents. Today that would have been like a healthy bread.
I know, yeah.
Today, if you want to get a healthy bread, you're paying $10 probably for a loaf. Like
I'd say just the standard loaf is $3 to $5,
which is full of rubbish, is like $3 to $5. If you want to go the clean stuff, you're paying $8 to $10. Milk was about 20 cents per litre. Now it's probably $2. Petrol, you filled the tank back then for 18 cents a litre. Yeah, that's cheap. Now it's about $2, $1.60 to $2, depends on. And
cars are even more economical nowadays than what they would have been in the old days. Maybe we didn't drive around as much in the old days as well. So.
Exactly, and you didn't get stuck in traffic as much as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. Things have gone up heaps, and relative to probably you can get into more detail in terms of what the multiplier is. But definitely wages didn't multiply by, I don't know, like 30 times. Wages have gone up 10 times in 50 years. House prices have gone up by, what did you say before? 30? 40?
20, no.
43.
43 times, that's right.
43 times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, plus add all the other stuff, like your everyday, and you're not mentioning meat here.
I was going to say, imagine your shopping bill. What would it be like? That's $25, thank you.
That's
pretty much
probably...
It's still probably
packed shopping.
Exactly right. And if you look at the average wage, if it's $150 a week gross, take out tax, okay, it wouldn't be as much tax as what it is nowadays. But,
exactly,
if you're spending, $50 a week just on fuel, doesn't leave a lot then for your utilities still. And that's probably one thing we don't have much visibility over in terms of what were the utilities like in the old days,
A lot cheaper.
Yeah, and I think it was probably a little bit more natural in the old days as well. So
look, I know people where they were earning $150 a week, started working in factories and stuff, and they still managed to buy multiple properties.
Yeah.
They still managed to live a normal middle class life.
Yeah,
that's the aim, that's the goal, I guess. Obviously, everyone wants to be a multimillionaire these days, but back then, everyone just wanted a normal life and a good suburb, kids go to school, holiday once a year or once every couple of years, and that's it. not much needs, and today everyone wants the $300,000 car. Like, even if you look on the roads today, it's just a normal car. It's like $150,000 plus, which is crazy. So that's I guess the inflation and just the system, the way it's designed, made people wanting more and more and more, and no one's happy.
Yeah, I think the biggest shift has really been around our lifestyle. You know, if you look at back in 1975, most families would have had the one car, the one television.
No phone.
There was no mobile phones. Holidays were typically down to the local beach.
Exactly.
That's it. Fast forward to today, I think the average house would have at least 2 motor vehicles, if not more. TVs, I'm the first one to say, I think I've got about 5 in my house.
Well done.
No, I wouldn't say well done, because that's actually really bad to have that many TVs. But, you know, nowadays kids want TVs in their own room. Then you've got the normal lounge room, you've got a rumpus room or whatever it might be. So one in the kitchen.
One's outside, one's in the bathroom.
Exactly. People have got al fresco areas with TVs mounted on the wall
just
as well.
In case
So
you miss something.
yeah, exactly right. And then you throw in things like streaming services. Most people want Netflix, Foxtel, you name it. Everyone's got access to that side of things as well. So,
yeah, absolutely. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and people want to go on bigger holidays too. You know,
bigger holidays.
Everyone wants to go on international holidays.
Bigger houses. Yeah.
I think international holidays in 1975 was probably, you would have to be ultra rich to be able to afford to go.
You have to be rich, yeah.
Just to be able to jump on a plane. So
just for everyone to.
Yeah, and like I said before, I think we've moved from a needs-based society to more of a want.
Well, they made us believe that this is the way to happiness, and everyone wanted that. So, and it's more affordable, but in hindsight, you're just wasting a lot of money on this stuff. And the problem is people are not happy. Not everyone, obviously, but in general, like as a society, individuals are not happy because
we want more.
And you've got everything. And then they realize, I've got the 5 TVs and the 6 cars and the international, you know, but there's something missing, because that's not what life is about. Anyway, let's not become too dramatic now. Yeah,
well, I think it's, you know, if you just look at, you know, ultimately inflation has driven a lot of this. You know, if you look at what $1 was, $1 in 1975 is essentially equivalent to around $10 today. So that puts a lot of pressure on everything, really. So everything that we do day in, day out. You know, there's so many things that have outpaced inflation as well. House prices, rent, education costs, childcare, all that sort of things. And you know, childcare has become a necessity for a lot of people too, because they need to have the double income. You know, back in 1975, there was just the reliance on the one income. Dad would typically, now I know this is stereotyping, but Dad would typically go to work, sometimes doing 2 jobs.
That's a fact. That's not stereotype.
Yeah, I just didn't want to make it in case it was the mum that was doing it. But yeah, and the mum would stay home, look after the kids, not earn any income, and
be a mum.
Be a mum. That's right. Yeah, be around for the mum, so there was no childcare costs as such. Probably didn't even exist back in 1975. So yeah, I think inflation has just well and truly added so much more pressure to the everyday life. You know, if you look at, you know, were our parents better off back in 1975 compared to our kids today wanting to buy things and buy a property? You know, who was better off? Who's worse off? Because, you know, my dad's a classic example. He'll always say, you know, you don't know how hard we had it. And I can't say no, they didn't have it hard. It's like you said, it's all relative as well. There's probably just different levels of pressure nowadays.
That's what they knew. Yeah. Just like that's what we know now.
Yeah.
In 15 years, you don't know how it's going to be. And they're probably going to look back and say, oh, well, you've had it easy.
Yeah.
Depends which way. If we keep going the way we're going, they're probably going to say, oh, you've had it easy.
Yeah.
You could breathe fresh air. Maybe. You didn't need to live in a bunker for 6 months. I don't know. Like, you don't know how things. But yeah, definitely. They had challenges, just same as we've got challenges. And I think comparing it's irrelative. Like, we do it just for the fun of it. But they had their own issues. They had their own things to deal with. Same as we've got our own issues and same problems to deal with. So I guess bottom line, you had happy, fulfilled people back then. and you've got happy, fulfilled people now. It's just up to the individual.
Yep.
Back then, it was more of a general thing. People were just less needy, and it's just when you start needing more, that's when you become less happy, because you start tying your self-worth or your happiness or to things outside your control, or things, to materialistic things, which are important, don't get me wrong, but it's just not tying your self-worth to it. Back then, they used to save a lot. They were tight asses, a lot of them. Yeah. Like, that's something I'm not big on, you look at them and you're like, mate, you're a millionaire and you're still bloody living a tight ass life, Yeah. They're just used to it.
Yeah.
They had it tough.
The great Australian dream was to buy the house, but pay it off as quickly as you possibly could as well, and then just continue to save as well. I think one of the things that I see a lot, because, my kids are now adults as well, is this younger generation wanting the same things as what we had when we were growing up, but earlier. But they don't want to go at it. They don't want to crawl first before they're running. It's like, no, we want this. We want the house now. We want the nice car now. We want the holidays now, rather than just...
We want the Instagram photos now as well.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Maybe that's how they make the money too.
Probably.
But, they just want to have everything now, rather than to have a bit of patience and work for it and wait for it and just do things in a more slower pace.
That's dangerous, because a very, very, very small percentage might work that way. They would make it at an early age.
Yeah.
But the majority of people, they'll burn out. They'll be very unhappy in life.
Yeah.
And they're just wanting to get somewhere rather than enjoy the journey. I know this is a cliche, but that's what life is. It's just going through all the periods, all the phases, all the experiences, learning, becoming wiser, so you can pass on that experience and that wisdom to your kids, and so on and so forth. This is how we improve as a society, I guess. But each of their own. They'll learn the hard way.
Yeah. So, do you reckon we're better off nowadays?
In what sense? Like, as in
if we
financially, or
if we're just comparing
mentally?
let's put aside the mentally side of things, because that can be quite subjective. So, I think just more around financially, are we better off today compared to back in, say, 1975? And
I think we are. I think we are financially. It's just priorities are wrong. Yeah. But we are definitely better financially. You can earn a lot more than you used to. You can access education. You can access information. You can access knowledge a lot easier. So it's up to you how you scale up and what you focus on. A lot more people are aware about how to invest, how to make more money, how to use the money wisely. It's up to them what they do with it.
Yep.
So it comes down to the individual. Because I see a lot of successful young people these days that are fully committed to making the right choices. They're very aware of where they're going to put their money, how they're going to spend it,
Yeah.
So it comes down to the individual, really. I guess, yes, we definitely have a lot more opportunity these days.
Yeah.
The world is all connected, so...
Well, that's the thing. Like, there are so many younger people nowadays who are going, you know what, I've got a good education behind me. I'm going to explore the world. Yeah. I'm going to get a job overseas.
Exactly.
In 1975, that was non-existent.
Yeah.
No one would leave.
Unless you're very, 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 good at what you do. And
you'd have to be almost like a scientist or something.
Exactly, yeah, 100%.
But, nowadays it's become not the norm, but it's, more widely, seen or accepted that, it's, parents have come to grips with the fact that, their kids may fly the coop one day and go overseas and work for a little bit and then come back later on after they've made squillions of dollars. So
exactly. That's like we said before, financially, definitely people are earning a lot more, but it's just life needs, and it's not just on the individual. Like, even on a government level, like, taxes are a lot, life is a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
Like, you can't live without mobile phones and a car and all these sort of things these days. You can't, unless you're just living disconnected from the world, which is the ultimate way. But realistically, if you are involved in the system, you have to be connected somehow to just function. So I guess to me, the always it goes back to the individual. That's the key part, whether financially, mentally, whatever it is, to take advantage of whatever opportunities you've got and the knowledge and it's so much easier to talk to people and learn from other experiences like podcasts or YouTube or all these sort of things. There's wealth of information and knowledge there.
Yeah.
It's just up to the individual how they scale up and actually learn and scale up, because the problem also is there's a lot of information.
Yeah, almost too much information.
It is too much information, and that is not a great thing because people just get a 30-second reel and then I'm an expert on this topic. So
the other thing as well is, like, if you look at, say, TikTok videos nowadays, the amount of videos that I'm scrolling through, I'm going, really, did that actually happen? And then I read down the bottom, it's AI generated. It's like, okay, so if you're not picking that up straight away, you're sitting there going, well, yeah, there's so much information and videos and everything that's going around. Which one do you actually believe? Like, exactly. We need to know what's real and what's not real out there. So,
well, best advice is to not watch at all.
Don't watch any videos, correct?
Don't watch any videos at all.
Yes.
So, I think to close, it's definitely harder in 25 in terms of expectations, in terms of needs and wants, in terms of inflation, in terms of taxes. So it's not like we're just swooks. Yeah.
There's a lot more pressure in there.
There's a lot more pressure, definitely. Yeah. But I guess on the other side, there's more access to information, there's more access to education, there's more access to know-how in terms of what to do, how to do things, where to go, what to learn, how to scale. So it comes down to you personally, individually, on if you take this to your advantage and make the best out of it, or sit down and whinge and change nothing. This is the reality. It doesn't matter like how it is in the 70s or how it is now. It's what you make out of it. So that's it. I don't know if you've got any thoughts to add.
No, I think, like, just to add to that one point of it, you know, people have got a lot more access to professionals as well. Like, they're not on their own as much as what it would have been maybe back in 1975, where it's like, I'm trying to make something for myself and I'm on my own here. I've just got to make it work, and based on just the knowledge that I actually have, whether it be reading newspapers or a bit of education as well. But nowadays, there's, you know, you've got access to financial advisors, brokers, solicitors, accountants, you name it. There's just so much information, so much access to professionals nowadays that, the pressure's there. But I feel like we're probably in a little bit better place nowadays, and if we take advantage of it in the right way, more so than anything else. So
that's it. Cool. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to subscribe and send through any questions you've got, and we'll see you again soon.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Disclaimer. The information contained in this podcast is general in nature and does not take into account your personal circumstances.